Okay, what up everybody, Shotgun911 here, again at a video game review. It's been a while since I did one of these things, so let me get started here because this took me several times to even do this. It was way too long videos I'd done. So I had to scratch off some of them that I wanted to talk about, but I can't. But anyway, I got a lot of good things to say about this game, and I also got a lot of bad things to say about this game. With the good things with Duke Nukem Forever is the enemies and the bosses of how they look and how smart the AI is. Now with the aliens, there's like this one certain type of alien I think is pretty cool looking, and it's the those flying squid types of aliens ones. You know, the ones that use telekinesis to shoot shit at you, and they're also a bitch to fucking hit right there. I thought those were like probably the coolest looking aliens right there in this game. There's also the pig cops too. And the whole bosses of it, I mean, they reused some of the bosses. I think they used two of them twice. But I thought the bosses looked pretty damn good. Now with the humans, however, that's another story right there. You know, the soulless stare. They seem like the developers had more time with the aliens than they did with the humans. But with the enemies, though, the AI of them is really smart. I mean, once they see you, they don't go, duh, shoot me, or not do anything at all. No, these fucking aliens will fucking attack you as soon as they see you. So the AI in this game is not stupid. Fucking the pig cops, they'll fucking just jump right at you and try to tear off your head, or you gotta tear off the pig cop's head. But yeah, the AI in this game is really good. And same thing with humans. Even though the humans look like shit, the AI and the humans are actually pretty good. I mean, they just don't stand there, get killed. No, they'll help you fucking shoot off the enemies. But the AI in this game is really good. The other thing I liked about this game was the ego bar and how you gain ego. I mean, a lot of people really had an issue with this. I mean, with the traditional, having to grab a health pack to get more life. With the ego bar, you just have to stand in a certain spot, without enemy fire coming at you. And after about couple of seconds, you'll get your health right back. It's just like with Wolfenstein for the 360. You just gotta stand away from the enemy fire, wait for a couple of seconds, and you're back in the game again to shoot some zombies, or in this case, fucking aliens. But yeah, I liked the whole ego bar of how that was right there. And the other thing is the gaining of ego. I thought that was pretty clever how you had to do some of them. I mean, some of them were kind of stupid, but the whole glory hole thing, and then you gotta work out. You gotta fucking look at yourself in a mirror or some shit like that. I mean, that's how you gain more ego. And the ego, with more gaining ego, you get more life, of course. But the only ones I really didn't care for about the gaining of the ego was the mini game ones, and I'll be getting back to those ones, and they are fucking atrocious of how bad they are. The other thing I liked about this game is the human weapons. The human weapons, I gotta say, were the best thing in this game. I mean, the only thing I would always carry with me is a shotgun. The secondary weapons I would carry would be either the rivet or the rocket launcher, just in case an upcoming boss fight. So I would have the rocket launcher right there just to shoot the fucking main boss down. It'd be a lot more easier than having a fucking shotgun or some shit like that. But anyway, the shotgun would be the main fucking weapon of choice for me. I mean, it seems like it carries more ammunition and does more damage to the enemies than the alien weapons. The alien weapons, they seem to have shorter amount of ammo and would not do much damage like to the aliens or anything like that. So I'd stay away from those fucking alien weapons. And it also kind of reminded me of those alien weapons. They kind of remind me of like a Halo. I'm not sure if anybody else agrees with me on that, but it kind of reminded me of a bit of a Halo type of shit. But the other thing I liked about this game was the gameplay. Excuse me. It felt very fluent of how it was. It wasn't stiff at all. It wasn't loose, and when you're trying to shoot an enemy, it actually feels like you're shooting the enemy. The controls of it are very responsive. Like I said, it's not stiff or anything like that. It's not loose as hell. But there's like a minor type of gripe I got with it, and it's when I just stand perfectly still. Sometimes Duke Nukem would fucking kind of glide or some shit like that. I'm not even touching the controller. He's still moving. It's like a little, I'm not sure if it's a glitch or anything like that, but he would sometimes do that right there. but the rest of the gameplay is very responsive. The controls are very easy to use, and I like that right there. And the other thing I liked about this game was Duke being Duke. I mean, I like games that are really smart with very good character development, like with Eternal Darkness or BioShock with good characters and all that. And I know, Duke Nukem is nothing like that right there, but I gotta say, it's a breath of fresh air. I mean, he's a guy who spews out one-liners, like, for instance, I'm here to kick ass and chew gum, and I'm all out of gum. I mean, that's the line from They Live, which is an awesome, awesome movie. You guys got to check out They Live. It's a really good-ass movie right there. Roddy Piper stars in it. But anyway, yeah, I like this whole, different type of aspect for me right there. I mean, it's all about a guy who uses steroids, spews out one-liners, and is pretty much probably dumb as shit right there. So to me, this is a breath of fresh air. And I know IGN was trying to say that they should change his persona. IGN was just talking about his persona and how the graphics look like shit. And to IGN, I say fuck you right there. If you change his persona, it's not longer Duke Nukem. It is something completely different. And what the mediocre things about this game is the driving stages. At first, it was all right, a little race car that you're in, when you're small. But once the monster truck kind of gets in there, it's very kind of boring. I mean, there's barely any enemies in there. It just becomes very, very repetitive. And with that whole monster truck shit, you lose gas 3 times. And I hated that. I mean, the first time that happened, it was funny. Because he said, like, nothing can stop me now, or I'm invincible, or some shit like that. Then it ran out of gas, and I kind of thought that was kind of funny right there. But then it happened again. And then it happened for a third time. And it just felt like it was a pointless thing to even have that right there. And the driving stages were really, really, really boring to me. The other mediocre things I gotta say about this is lack of enemies. I mean, sometimes there'll be like a whole barrage of enemies, but then all of a sudden, silence. And you'd be walking through this hallway, walking everywhere, a little bit further, even pass through all that shit to another checkpoint, and still, no fucking enemies. This game is very, very quiet. I mean, I got a slight problem with respawning. I mean, several respawning enemies, like, constantly. But right here, I felt like they should have at least 1 or 2 respawning enemies coming at you. But this game felt way, way, way too quiet for me. The other mediocre thing is the alien weapons. I already talked about this, is that, the alien weapons felt like they didn't really do that much impact. They didn't have that much ammunition. And I thought that was kind of bad right there. There's a mediocre types of weapons right there. The bad aspects, so this really bad aspects, is the mini games, like the basketball, the pool, and of course the air hockey. I mean, when you're playing basketball, he seems like he's just going, fucking just throwing it right in there, trying to put it in that fucking net. I mean, why don't you just fucking granny shot it, or fucking actually shoot it, not forcefully put it in there. I mean, it's such a bitch to get a fucking ego bar to grow with that fucking mini game. I just could not stand that. And also with the pool. The pool is terrible. It doesn't even feel like you're playing pool. It seems like you're just grabbing the cue ball and just fucking throwing it everywhere. And when it gets to a certain type of a tight angle, you can see a clear shot where you can hit a ball, but the game won't let you. So you gotta fucking whip that fucking ball somewhere so you can hit that other ball somewhere else. I mean, it did not even feel like pool. It felt like Duke Nukem just grabbing the cue ball, just throwing it everywhere. And the worst one of them all, of course, is the air hockey one. I mean, when you're actually trying to forcibly hit the puck, if you sometimes miss it, and it fucking just glides away from you. Slow as fuck. It is hard as hell to score a point. It's hard as hell to control that son of a bitch. That is the worst minigame in that game. And the whole Balls of Fury, I think the pinball one, or Balls of Steel, I'm thinking of the movie of Christopher Walken, but Balls of Steel, I felt that was kind of a mediocre type of a pinball game. It felt, it could have been something else, with lights and all that shit. It just felt like bing, 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 nothing else happening and all that. No lights, no glamour, no nothing. The other thing I thought was really bad was the facial animations of the humans. I mean, they looked like they had no souls whatsoever. I mean, look at one of my favorite games, Eternal Darkness. They actually had facial expressions. And that game was made back in 2001 for the GameCube. When they're angry, they look angry. When they felt sad, they look sad. Duke Nukem, human people, they look like they have no souls with this boring ass look. That's it. That's all you're gonna get. And they actually sound excited, but they sure as hell don't look like it. And the other thing is that I hated about this game is once it gets to the second half of the game, it becomes very, very bland. I mean, the color schemes of it is brown or tan or dark brown. I mean, you get some blue skies and all that, or a few patches of green spots of cactuses when you're driving with that monster truck, but it feels very, very boring. And also with the egos, there's not very much of it after that. And once you get close to the end of the game, it becomes very, very dark and gray. And I felt like they should have added some more color details to that. And the other thing that was the worst one, which is the loading time. The loading time is infamous for this fucking game. I have it, I don't have it, but I rented it for the 360, and it takes like about 2 or maybe even 3 minutes to load the fucking game. This game takes forever, and there's, I mean, it can't really describe of how bad it is, but it's just atrociously bad. It takes forever to even get that shit going again, and once you die, guess what? You gotta go through all that shit again, and it's like, oh my god, the only thing you can be hearing is that fucking music. That's the only part of the music that's actually good in this game. I felt the music in this game was very bad. The only thing that was, like I said, was good was the loading time music, but you're gonna be hearing that quite a bit, and the whole ego tone. But the loading time, I heard the PC one is very quick, but the 360 one is bad. And the other thing is that this game can become very glitchy. 3 times this happened to me when I was playing the slot machine to get my ego to go get a little bit larger. I would get shot and I'd be shot up in the air somehow and get stuck in vertical. This happened to me 3 fucking times and I could not get down, so I had to reset the fucking game. And also another time, this happened to me twice, is once you get up to this close to this one boss, and you know where you're on the elevator, and all these bad guys start coming out. Sometimes a fucking bad guy will get stuck at the far end of the area, and you cannot advance to the boss until you kill every freaking single enemy on there. And that becomes a bitch right there, because the crosshairs, I mean, it looks like I'm shooting them, but I'm not. I'm missing them somehow. And that right there pissed me right the fuck off. And also there's a few minor glitches, you know, the glitchiness of the blood just blinking off and on, and also with the mirror and all that shit. It's like minor ones right there, but the 2 main ones was the trying to hit the enemy when he's fucking stuck, and the other one was being shot by playing slot machines. And the worst one of them all, oh, not the worst one of them all, the worst one of them all was the loading time. But the other bad thing about this is, and now I'm going to be spoilers right here. If you have not beat the game, I suggest that you fast forward this part, because I'm going to give away the boss and all that. Okay, here I go. Remember the first boss? He's back. He's the very last boss. Now, I got no problem with that, because Final Fantasy, which is my favorite Final Fantasy game, the very first one, because the first boss was actually the last boss. I didn't mind that. But he was easy as fuck in this game. I mean, you didn't really do anything different. You did a few different things, but you can easily avoid it. There's a few enemies coming at you, so you can get more ammo. Okay, but boss here is easy as fuck. I did not die once against him. Once I go to a final boss, I expect a really, really tough boss fight. But this one was way too fucking easy. This game right there was bad. It dropped the ball right there, where it should have been a challenge right there. But they did not. But even with all the bad things I gotta say about this game right here, I still gotta say it's a pretty good mediocre game right here. I mean, if you're a person that really wants, you know, really good graphics or anything like that, don't get this game. This game is not meant for you. To me, this game is a mediocre game, a good mediocre game. If I had to give it like a number score, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Just because of you know, there's a lot of bad things, but I also I gave it a lot of good things about this game right here. But if you're a person that just talks about the graphics and that's the only thing, don't get this game. This game is not meant for you. For me, it is a mediocre game, though. Enjoyable mediocre